about you day and night. It's only right to think about the girl you love and hold her tight. So happy together. If I should call you up, invest a dime, and you say you belong to me, and ease my mind. Imagine how the world could be so very fine, so happy together.
Hello, welcome back, my sweet angels. It's me, Jenny. I'm starting out a series. I'm gonna call it, I think, the Finding Myself Chronicles. Feels right. The term
Finding myself
feels a little corny, but it just is precisely that. Just finding that little person that's inside of my body, deep down in there, and we gotta find her. I'm gonna start out this first episode of the series. It's gonna be chattier than the rest. The rest, I hope, will be more hands-on, more action, more activity based. I'm gonna do more episodes on like trying new things that I'm interested in, facing like my fears, things that make me anxious, and like kind of exposure therapying a little bit, like getting in touch with my body, maybe trying out things around that, like setting goals for the future. Maybe we'll do like a style episode. So I think it's gonna be really fun. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I'd love to have you along for the ride. Also, give this video a thumbs up. If you like it, you should do that, because I never ask, and I realized that maybe I should remind y'all, because I do think it would help me. Obviously, like, life in general is a series of finding yourself and losing yourself and then refinding things about yourself. You know, it all goes and comes in waves. I feel like last fall I was doing really well. I was feeling really in touch. Winter, we lost her again, God bless. And now it's spring and I'm feeling a little bit of an awakening, which is why I feel inspired to finally make the start of this series. Why not take everyone along for the ride? I feel like this is a good time. I feel like I've spent the last year and a half in therapy, still am. The epiphany I had that led to this. I've always like kind of described myself, like identified as a messy person. Now in my adult life, it really bothers me that my apartment always feels messy and it doesn't make me feel energized or creatively inspired. One, learning that you don't have to still be who you thought you were, and like dropping old identities that are not fitting anymore is so important, to like shedding that away so that you can replace it with something that feels better.
we can change.
Yeah, so like before we go out into the world, we have to figure out what's stopping us. I think there's always like some clearing, some shedding of layers before you can like rebuild. And that's why growth feels painful and really uncomfortable. And I hate it, but I love it at the same time, because you know when you're uncomfortable that something good is usually coming from it. My computer up here. If you want to participate, get a little journal and like let's go through these. Basically, I thought I'd read to you like some of my belief systems, limiting beliefs, if you're familiar with that term. My own roadblocks that I'm putting for myself that are not coming from anyone else. And then I'm gonna, as I'm going through, I'm also gonna switch them into positive belief systems. It is not like a, oh, I make this video and now I'm no longer gonna struggle with those thoughts anymore. But I do think the more we like kind of unpack them, see where they're coming from, the easier it gets to replace them. Number one, but just the overthinking, distrusting myself, feeling like I don't know anything, or I don't know enough, I don't know the answer, what I choose or my path like couldn't possibly be right. That's where I feel like the indecisiveness that I struggle with sometimes comes from, because I'm doubting my instincts, not fully believing in myself. Okay, so flip side to a little angel on our shoulder is I already have all of the answers. I feel like that rings true a lot of the time, of like, I know what to do, or deep down I know what I want, but I'm too afraid to say it, or I'm too afraid to admit it. I just don't want to listen to it because it feels scarier. And I think the more I like sit with that, the easier it gets to like listen to yourself and trust yourself. Next one, I know everyone feels this, but the I am not enough, the constant like, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not interesting enough, I'm not skinny enough. Like all of those just hit in a way that are pretty constant and are also like very intrusive, I think, on a daily basis, more than I would even like to admit. On the flip side, I am who am who I am. I am who I'm supposed to be. I can be whoever I want to be. I'm unique and beautiful in my own way. There's so many. Another big one, I've talked about this before on my channel, fear of trying, like fear of success. If I do get something, then I'll just end up losing it anyway. I have a pattern that dates back to like probably elementary school, but even like high school basketball. I noticed this thing in myself that I just would not. I was a good shooter. Like I was good at basketball, and instead of like taking shots, I would just always like pass the ball. Do this all season. I would beat myself up because I'm like, I'm not contributing anything. Like I wouldn't necessarily mess up, but I also wasn't really like, I could tell I was just holding myself back. And it just has been a metaphor for also like the last like 6 years of my adult life. At the end of the season, every season, I would just take like, finally like take one shot and it would go in. And then from that point, this happened every single year for 4 years. 3/4 of the season, I would be like in my shell, I would be scared, timid, whatever. And then once I made that shot, I would
Go off.
and every game after that, I'd be like shooting my shots, I would be making them, I'd feel really good, I'd feel like, oh, I unlocked it again. And that happened every single year. I don't shoot my shot enough. Like you gotta shoot your shot or else you'll never know. So I'm yelling at myself right now. On the flip, I would rather try and fail than not try at all. I will put energy towards what it is that I want to achieve. I try at everything I do. I put all my effort into what I care about. I always try my best. I always try my best. That's so simple, but easy to forget. I'm messy, unorganized. Like, I'm a messy person. I'm unorganized. I'll never be on top of things. I clean. I take care of my space. This one's kind of hard. What would I say to that? Yeah, I'm attentive to my space because I'm grateful to live here and have a roof over my head. This one's gonna sound bad. It's exactly just like as I say these things about myself out loud to people I know will be listening, it makes them sound like so much more degrading. Of like, I would never think these things about other people, and I know most people, aside from internet trolls, will like not think that negatively about you either. So like saying this out loud is like, it feels so sad. So like, don't feel sad for me, but it's, I do not deserve attention. There are other people who deserve it more than I do. Why would anyone want to listen to me? Why would anyone want to be my friend? Like, why waste your time on me? And that one definitely hurts to say out loud. So this one, I feel like that just like triggered me the most, telling me that like, this is the one that I believe that. On the flip side, I wrote down, I offer a unique perspective to the world. I love listening to other people's perspectives. So like in the ways that I love listening to other people. Yeah, but you can tell like when you say one of these, it's like, it's hard for me even to say like, I offer a unique perspective to the world. Saying that out loud feels like I'm faking it. And so that is where I find like affirmation practices helpful. How long can I say this to myself until I start believing it? I don't know. This one has been a really big one I feel like I need to overcome again. I feel like there was a point in my life that I was really working on breaking down these habits, and then I feel like they kind of crept back in. But just like my beliefs around like money is bad, having money makes you a bad person, having money makes you greedy, having success makes you greedy. And while that can be true in some cases, it's not the rule. I think coming from my childhood of like having a scarcity mindset in a lot of ways, feeling always like money was an issue or just like putting a lot of attention on it even, I think is something that I have really struggled with, especially in my adulthood. Feeling like no matter what, my whole life I'm gonna struggle with money and like will never be someone who makes enough to be comfortable. And I feel like I'd like to get around that again. I feel like being in a place that I'm absolutely grateful and like more comfortable with money than I've ever been. Like the idea of like even wanting more success, I feel like I'm holding myself back. If I like maybe have more subscribers or more attention, whatever, it would mean that I'd be more successful. But there's also like, I have to break that down for myself of that doesn't make you a bad person, and it's okay to want to take care of yourself and your family and people and the world. Like the more you have, there's also like more you can give and allocate in ways that you want to. And money is freedom. In a lot of ways it is. Money's not everything, but it definitely matters. Like releasing like those thoughts of like, I'll never have enough, I'll never be successful, I'll never make enough money. Those specifically, I feel like everyone needs to drop those. That's definitely not saying that other people, like some people don't have it way harder and start at a lower point, and it's way harder to get into financial stability for people who are not born with it. And yeah, that's not taking that for granted, but in any way I think that like mindset is really helpful. And the last one I wrote down is I don't have enough energy. My energy is a resource to me where I only spend it super wisely, like try to, because from years of being sick. But wrote on the flip side, I create energy by surrounding myself with high vibrational people. So like those people that you just like really jive with, and when you're around them you just have so much fun. The time passes so quickly and you're just feeding off of each other and being silly and fun. It's just your people, you know? And I know that that's when I feel the most energized, when I'm like with those people who just like make me feel fun and alive and excited for life. I create energy by taking care of myself. I feel energized when I focus on what I'm passionate about. The way I feel reading the negative ones versus the way I feel after I say the positive, there's this little part of you that like even saying it once out loud kind of believes it, and all it takes is just like crafting the like positive spin. It's honestly kind of crazy how malleable our brains can be. And also getting back into implementing a gratitude practice. I will be doing that. It's been a while since I've been doing that, and I think I definitely noticed that like shift in my life, realizing that I'm not feeling as good when I'm not actively like taking the time to really focus on the good things that are happening. And yeah, that in itself feels energizing and like allows you to be open to more. However, this is gonna be a long vid. I hope you stuck around. This felt like the right starting place to just kind of shed some thoughts that feel like they're holding me back. Please tell me your, like, if you have limiting beliefs that pop up for you and you want to put them in the comments, and then on another line like put the positive, a nice spin on it, affirmation. I think that could be fun to read through them all and probably helpful for everyone. So definitely do that, and I'll see you all in the next one.